Hey there. Before we get started, I just wanted to come on and ask you all a favor. In our research, we've discovered that the vast majority of you do not actually like and subscribe to our podcast. And so, if I could ask you to do so, I won't ask you for anything else. And I promise to make this podcast the best I can every day. Me and the team really strive to do that for you. And so, if you could do this for us, we would be eternally grateful. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Mickelle Weber, founder and auteur of House of Peregrine. Expat, immigrant, pioneer, none of these were a fit, but Peregrine describes what we are all about perfectly. Those that craft their life story with intention. I've spent the last 6 years in awe of the life-changing connections and stories I have experienced while living abroad, and believe it is time for this adventure to be recognized, celebrated, and elevated to the life stage that it is. Through these interviews, I hope to connect those living internationally more deeply to both the place they are living and with themselves and those around them. We cover everything from international finances and meaning-making to global parenting and relationships to make your time abroad more intentional, edifying, and full of beauty. Find us at houseofperegrine.com, where you can find more ways to connect with the ethos of Peregrine. I hope you enjoy today's guest. Let's get started. Gal and Maayan are the dynamic duo behind the Instagram account and Expat Mindset coaching brand, Smoozitive. The name Smoozitive is a combination of smooth and positive and echoes their mantra, the best thing you can do abroad is live a life you love. They are also sisters and have each relocated 8 different times in different countries, so they understand firsthand the emotional and mental aspects that are crucial for a successful relocation abroad. They bring this experience and passion to their online courses, coaching, and community. In 2022, they began by guiding and assisting women moving abroad. And since, they have made it their mission to make moving abroad simpler, smoother, and more positive for as many expats as possible. You can catch up with them on their podcast, The Coffee Talkie Show, their Instagram, Smoozitive, and also head to their website, smoozitive.com, for a free guide, 5 Life Abroad Hacks. I love my conversation with these two. It really gets to the heart of some of the inner work that is often forgotten or overlooked that can make the difference between a transformative and positive experience or misery when living abroad, especially for so-called trailing spouses. They have a lot of wisdom and positivity to share. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I love talking to these deep and funny women. Also, don't forget to follow the podcast and rate it if you love what we are doing. This is the easiest way to help bring the House of Peregrine podcast to more people. Okay, on to the episode. Gal, Maayan, thanks so much for joining me today. I'd like to start with first welcoming you on to our podcast. And I want you to start by telling me a little bit about how and where you grew up.
So first of all, thank you so much for having us. We're happy to be here on your podcast. So we, first of all, are sisters. So we grew up in the same place. We were both born in Israel and then moved to France at a very early age. Gal was just 2 years old. I was 6 years old. And basically our whole life, we grew up between Israel and France. And then later on, as we became young adults, Maayan decided to move on her own back to Israel. I decided to go a different journey and I moved to Dublin and then a couple of years in London and then a little bit in the US. And then I moved back to Israel. And then we both moved back during COVID, back to France. Different lives, different journeys, but somehow we ended up here again. And it's just part of our journey, moving abroad.
So tell me how that, in House of Peregrine, we have these stories of people. And I always say that it makes you have more in common with those from around the world than those that you grew up with. And so tell me, what do you think it was about, obviously your parents were moving you around when you were little. Do you think that was one of their values? Or did you think it was strange in any way that you would move around so much? Or not so much, but maybe more than others that you knew?
I think it was part of their values. The lifestyle that they wanted to have as a family was above everything. And they were looking for where they can have those
family values that they were cherishing, and where should it be. So they went after this. We couldn't know it as
So they were searching for a place that matched their family values, or moving was the family value?
they were searching places that matched their values.
Oh,
And we always laugh about the fact that we are fourth generation expat because our parents moved with us as we were kids, but our grandparents moved as well. And even before that. So, and we did it as well. Like I just moved with my kids. And it's maybe something about those, like Gal just said about our parents looking for a place where our values are met. And it's not in every country and not all the time because things are changing. Politics are changing in the world all the time. And there is this desire to find a place where you can be true to yourself and to your own values and raise kids this way.
yeah. And that I resonate with that so strongly myself. And being able to, for me, it was also about being able to be the mother I wanted to be. So not just have my kids be around what, something that I wanted, but also the ability to be the mother I wanted to be and the person I wanted to be. That value where I was born wasn't able to work out, even though it works out for some people. It just wasn't for me. Do you feel like, so, and it's okay if it's a combination of things. Do you think, you said politically motivated, but do you think it was also just all of it? They just didn't find the place?
So for every generation, it's something else. For sure, for our parents, politics was involved. Growing up in Israel in different times, we left Israel for the first time after the Gulf War. So politics has definitely a huge place in it, and security also. And you mentioned, how do you want to be as a person, not only for your kids, but for a person. And if you want to be a certain person, who value, for example, freedom, with values, freedom of speech, then there are certain places where you can't do that in certain times.
And as fourth generation, third culture kids,
Yeah.
how did this was before there was remote work. So your parents, your grandparents, and their parents, they all had to figure out how to adult while moving, which was not as easy as it is today. So how do you think that affected them? Or have you reflected on that at all?
Oh yeah, we talk a lot about it because it's really interesting. Now, for example, we moved from Israel and a couple of years ago, and we're working in English with women from all over the world. But when our mom first moved to France 32 years ago, she didn't speak a word in French. She didn't even know how to say hello in French. And we just arrived and our father found her a job in less than a month, and she was a gymnastic teacher at the time. And he just told her, well, go and do it and find a way because there's no other choice. And we always laugh about the fact that she learned French based on what the kids would tell her how to say things, that she would just, as a gymnast, she was just doing things, demonstrating, and they taught her French. And after she went to study it properly, etc. But it was part of things. And if we look at the history of our family, our grandpa was from Poland. He didn't speak a word in any other language. And after the Second World War, he found himself in France and had to learn life all over again.
Start school at the age of 11 without ever going to school before, not in French and not in any other language. But I think the fact that before we didn't have those remote working, we had to adjust ourselves because that's the only way. Okay, you're in certain place and there is no other option for you than to learn the language and to adjust and adapt to the local place. And so maybe it's harder at the beginning, but for the long run, it's maybe a better solution because you're like really embracing the change and really embracing the fact that you're living in another country, in another language, with another culture.
Yeah. It's a time for incredible personal growth and also just learning, and you're learning a culture like you learn a language. And so you grew up with that story in your body. Like you grew up with that as like, something that is just completely normal. And I think that it changes you. It changes what you think your life looks like. And so I love that you're aware of that and have that kind of, as your ethos. And so I want to get to Smoozitive eventually, but I think that your life story paints you into this very natural role. So I want to go a little bit further on that if you'll indulge me. And so you both grew up first in Israel and then in France. Yeah. And so as sisters, you're moving around. Do you guys have a big family or is it just the two of you?
We also have a brother who was born in France.
Born in France. Okay. So your mom did the 2 kids in Israel, then moved to France. I so feel your mom. And I think you guys too. Didn't you guys both do I didn't have a kid in a different country, but I came with 3 small children to the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel that, and I automatically feel some sort of kinship with your mother, right? That you've moved country with little kids is like another level. And so you both moved from Israel when you were little to France, and then you both at some point moved back to Israel. Did you know that House of Peregrine has an app? It is full of resources, information, and products to make life as an international more connected and more intentional. As a member of House of Peregrine, you also now have access to exclusive discounts, products, guides, and events to make life more fun and connected. Simply download the app at houseofperegrine.com and save it to your home screen. Okay, back to the show.
Yes.
So we actually moved in the meantime also when we were young kids. So we moved for the first time with our parents when we were really young. And then a couple of years later, our parents decided to go back to Israel because it looked like there might be a better values and things we appreciated at the time. So we moved back. We spent a couple of years there. And they decided to move again in 1999. So we've done it a couple of times back and forth. And every single time it's different. But, we talked about it's part of our DNA, but it's a big part of our resilience, our adaptability, or the fact that we know how to, to deal with changes in such a way because we've done it in so many times and in different life stages. And so
what do you think what do you think the gifts are from that? Resiliency, of course. And so as adults, speaking about your childhood experience, now seeing kids move, tell me what you gained personally, like reflecting on it, besides resilience, which we all know.
Yeah. So Gal mentioned being able to adapt to changes. And we always mention COVID, for example. When COVID hit, everyone needed to stop everything and adapt to a different way of living, working from home, being all together all the time with the kids at home. And for us, it was like easier where we see a change coming and we say, okay, that's it. There's no point in trying to go back to something else that we knew that was good. It's like, okay, things are changing. Let's adapt and accept the change. And I think it's a big gift for us because we adapted to the changes of COVID and we adapt to small changes, weather changes, work changes, career, houses. It's like, at first, I think when we were kids and teenager, it was a negative point, like we have no roots and everything is changing all the time. But as we grew up and we understood that it's a gift and we started using this gift of being able to adjust ourselves and not freak out for everything that is changing. We see people around us all the time freaking out with small changes, like, and I'm sorry, but the French people, for example, they don't change anything. Like, don't change the laws, don't change the building, don't change anything. I'm like, change is just part of life. Yeah. Everything is changing. Nature changes all the time. And when it's easier for us to see change and to feel good with change, then life is so much easier.
Yeah. Do you remember the moment when it changed from a liability to an asset?
I think it only came after a lot of self-development and self acceptance and hard work with ourselves. We both did different kind of work,
different journeys of self-development, but I would say that it happened after many, many tears.
Yeah.
After many miserable nights and after many drinking wine on the sofa and asking ourselves why the hell this is happening. And we had to go through those moments to really shift the narrative and be like, wait a second, but maybe there's an opportunity here, maybe. And it had to come combined with.
So tell me that. So you both were doing separate jobs and kind of had separate career paths and even country paths. And so give me a brief synopsis of that before Smoozitive was born.
Well, so as Gal mentioned, when I was 18, I moved back to Israel, did the army there, and then studied graphic design. I was a graphic designer. I had my own studio for 10 years until COVID. And you?
And I studied marketing and business in London, and then decided to go back to Israel to try living there as an adult and not live my parents' decisions as a teen. So went back, worked in advertising for between London and Israel for about a decade, gave my life there, and then decided that life is not about that. So I decided to leave the marketing field, went back to uni, studied positive psychology. And this is where my journey of self-development started. It started a little bit before this. So actually it got me to decide to go and study positive psychology to actually understand what are those things that I do for myself as a self-development growth thing. And I became a coach. I started working with everything and everyone about different topics, but as a general idea of life is worth living and we should stop just spending it on working for just to work. What's the point? So I started doing different things. And during COVID, everything stopped. So, and we talked about change, and this is a subject that was probably the debate that I had with all of my close friends at the time of COVID, because they were like, we need to go back to the life we used to have. And I was like, no, you need to take it as a stop sign and move forward. Like, it's not about going back. So we always say challenges as opportunities, and COVID was a big challenge. But for me, it was a time where everything stopped. So finally, I could hear the voices in my head and be like, okay, what do I want? Where is this place that I share my values with? Where is this? How do I want to see my life? How do I want to spend my life? And my answer at the time was, this is not Israel. I didn't know what we're going to do, but I just knew that it's time for me to make a change, to make a shift. I moved to France, and a year later, Maayan joined me. And this is where we decided, because we wanted to work together as a business for over a decade. Like, we always had ideas. We tried different things. It didn't work because we had different paths, different journeys. But then COVID brought us to a stage where we had a blank page. We both lost our businesses that we had before. And we were like, okay, let's see what do we know best?
Yeah, now's the time. So tell me so it ended up where you are now, but can you tell me, so with your background, Gal, of positive psychology, and Maayan, your background in graphic design, was there a brainstorming session, or were you just, because this is also a combination of your upbringing, Smoozitive.
Yeah.
So tell me how it was born.
So, as Gal mentioned, we tried different things before, and we tried, bringing our values to the world and help people doing several things and everything, but it didn't work out. And as we mentioned before as well, we both went to personal journeys of, discovering ourselves and our strengths. Gal went to study positive psychology. I studied yoga and I became a mindfulness coach, and I brought everything from there as well. to the table. And we started thinking, well, what do we know best? And it is moving around and adjusting to those changes and to create a life abroad. We say it all the time. We've done moving abroad miserably with a lot of tears, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety as kids, as teens, as adults. But we also managed to do that 2 years ago and 3 years ago beautifully and so successfully, and to adjust to a new life and create for ourselves a life that we actually enjoy living. And this is what we say, okay, so let's help others do that. This is what we know best. This is what we believe in. We bring all our values and our experience, our personal experience to the table, and let's help other women around us, because we see it all the time. Women moving abroad, feeling miserable and missing so many opportunities while living in the most beautiful places on earth, because they don't know how to adapt, because they don't know how to look at their situation and take the most out of it.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And
Yeah.
this is how Smoozitive was born.
Yeah. And so what would you say the main difference, and I think this gets to the heart of what Smoozitive is doing, but what would you say the main difference between doing it miserably and doing it intentionally are?
It's exactly, you said, it's your intention, is how you feel about your move abroad. People tend to focus on the external part of their life abroad, the external thing, what my mom thinks, how my friends behave. Do I have the right logistics, visa paperwork, finances? Do I have a job? Will I have a job? Do I have enough money? All those external questions. And not enough people are asking themselves, what do I want when I move abroad? How do I want to live? Where is this place I want to? And a lot of people are blaming everyone. I moved for my husband. I moved because of my parents. I moved for this. My boss forced me. I don't have a choice. We always have a choice. There's always a choice, even the harsh ones. With one of our clients, we said it to her, and sorry if you listening to us, it touches a nerve, but even when you move with your husband because he got a job opportunity, it is your choice. You can decide not to. So if it's your choice, then what is the choice? What do you want out of it? And a lot of people are not spending enough time and enough energy thinking about that. And then they don't understand, why is it so hard? Why everything is so different? Why am I doing this to myself? Because they don't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
They've been asked.
And would you say another way to say that is, even if you feel like the choice is not your own, make it your own?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Take responsibility.
Yeah.
It's your life. No one else.
It's your life. Yeah. We always say you only get one.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you just give us the lowdown on what Smoozitive does?
So, like we said, we are here to help women prepare themselves mentally and emotionally for a move abroad. So we help them understand what's the reason for their move abroad, their own personal reason, because it's not their husbands or their families. So we help them do that. We help them build their confidence in themselves, build resilience, have all their assets brought to the table and use them, because we see so many women saying, oh, I can't do anything. I have to learn everything from scratch when I move to another country. Well, no, you're not starting from zero. You have so many things, your values, your beliefs, your experience, your knowledge. It all helps you deal with this new situation and adapt to the new situation, to your new life. And those assets that you bring to the table will help you create a life that you actually enjoy living no matter where you are. So we teach them to use what they already got, because we all have amazing things. We just forget to use them.
Yeah. Or forget that they're valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So basically we strengthen the core, because we say, like, the challenges out there, you cannot do anything about them. There are going to be challenges. It's going to be hard. You're not going to change the French system, neither the Dutch one or the Spanish one. This is how things are going to be. But you can get stronger. And if you feel stronger and you feel better, and if you feel joyful, well, you will deal better with everything that will happen.
Yeah. So you shore up their core. You shore it up, give them that inventory of their strengths and their values of why they're doing this, so that it gives them maybe a solid base to start their experience. Would you also say, and this is like a really sensitive question, but do you think people can do this if they are forced to leave their country?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
This is like a really hard question.
Yeah.
It's one I'm always wondering. But
you're talking about refugees.
yeah, refugees or
Okay.
not that there's always time.
Yeah.
But
I love it. I love your question. I love your question. And this is one of our big vision for Smoozitive, is to help those who had to flee their country and are forced to live in a country that they didn't choose to live there.
Yeah.
But they did make a choice, because even to run away from your country is a choice that you make.
I have goosebumps. I have like goosebumps. Like
when you choose to leave instead of staying in a country and die, that's a choice, and that's a strong one. And if we can get to those people, and right now we are talking to women, but we can also talk to men as well. It's the same speech. If you can see it this way and take responsibility, and instead of being the poor one, the miserable one, the refugee, you can take responsibility on your life and start building a life that you actually want to live, then you're stronger than you think you are.
Yeah. And I would just like to acknowledge, like, maybe that's an unfair extra burden to put on people who are already leaving a country. But for me, when I moved to a new country as a very privileged person, my entire worldview began crumbling around people who it was so hard enough to do it the way I was doing it, that when I saw someone who did it as a refugee or as some other way, I just began falling apart for their experience. Like I just began, first of all, I saw myself in them and them in me, but that it just made me have a completely different worldview about immigration and everything else that I thought maybe I knew something about that I didn't.
Yeah, but I want to say something, that everything that we believe in and our values in life, first of all, comes from our grandfather. That he was a Holocaust survivor, went through hell in Poland and Germany during the Second World War. And he was a refugee after the Second World War. He couldn't, it's not true, he couldn't. He could have chosen to go back to Poland, but his father decided never going back to Poland. So for a year, there were refugees traveling Europe without any place to live. And finally, they got an opportunity to come to France. So as immigrants, as refugees, having nothing, no money, no language, nothing. And he chose to live. And that's a choice. That's the first choice that someone can have. When you choose to live your life and to go and study the language and go and make friends and go and ask for a nationality and go and he became, a researcher in biology, working for France, research for the state of France. So he started as a refugee kid coming from Poland after the war, became, one of the best researchers in France with a nationality. So when you take responsibility, even if it's hard, even if you have nothing, it's still doable. And then you can have your life back instead of, just whining about it. And I know it's hard what I'm saying right now, because people are dealing with really hard situations and really hard lives. I see refugees coming from Syria, from Ukraine right now, from Africa. They're dealing with really hard situations. They had to run away from death, from hell. But instead of choosing to be miserable, if you choose to take responsibility over your life and do something about it. Start small, do something. Then you have at least an opportunity of having another life.
Yeah. And would you say, so in trauma, which is, we can say these are traumas, I think, safely. I'm not a psychologist, but I think we can say, so in trauma, what's the first, after choosing to live? And this is a very hard question. Again, I'm just hitting you guys with them. After choosing to live, what's the next small decision to owning your life?
I will say making a decision, making an action, any action.
That you feel you choose.
That you feel you choose. Yeah. It is your life. You know, a lot of people don't understand that, but we have one life. We said it before. It's your life. It's your actions. It's your decisions. It's your thoughts. It's your behavior. It's yours. It's no one else's. So if you made a decision to live as living as living as being alive, both decisions are amazing and super brave and super courageous in those states. The only thing you can do right now is take another step. Doesn't matter which one, but keep the momentum of moving and trying. It's trial and error. We don't know how things are going to work out, but if you will make the decision to victimize yourself and to ask for everyone to pity you and to be, this is a decision as well. So it's really about what you do and how you put yourself out there.
We always say, craft your life story with intention. And that is really, really hard to do in trauma. And so that's why I want to acknowledge that it may seem harsh to say something like that to anyone, even if you're choosing to come with your partner or something. But I think it's hard won from you guys. I think it's hard won. And you see that it's also maybe the only thing you can do. But it's hard won.
And I will also say that it's okay to ask for help. If you've been through any type of trauma, and it doesn't matter if a trauma is because you're a refugee and you had to flee your country because of wars or because of any bad situations, or if the trauma is that you moved with your husband and he left you and you find yourself in another country that you don't know. It doesn't matter which trauma you're going through. If you decided to be alive and live in a certain country, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of help for different types of people, and especially in the Western world, for refugees, for there's so much help available. We just need to be willing to ask and not feel afraid for that.
Yeah, asking for help is a skill.
It's a skill,
actually. And maybe in your country before you didn't have to hone that skill because you know everything.
Maybe, but if it's a skill, then you can work on it and build this muscle.
Yeah. And I think that is something I learned, is that learning, I had to learn how to ask for help because there is no roadmap. That's the best thing. And so you're creating your life from scratch in a way. And that's not a small thing. And in House of Peregrine, we always say that's your people. Those are the people that you feel more at home with than you do from maybe where you grew up, is because you made that decision to craft your life story from scratch. There's no roadmap now. Now it's you're the map maker. And I feel like you guys
you're the map maker, but you have skills. You have knowledge. You've done things in your lives.
Yep.
And you can use them to create the new map that you are currently living through.
Yeah. So tell me what the process is like with Smoozitive. So I'm a person who's going to move to a new country for some reason, and I recognize I need help. And I find myself with you two. What is that like?
So we have different types of offers. Our biggest one is an online course that we either do as a self-paced, you can do it on your own, or you can do it hand in hand with us with weekly sessions. But the whole idea is to take you through the process of preparing yourself to your move abroad. So we usually recommend it to our client to do it anytime between 3 months to 6 months before their move abroad. So it's usually for those who really know they're moving. It also works for those who really like currently are moving abroad. We held a couple of clients like this, or a couple of weeks up to a couple of months after they move. But the idea is to prepare themselves. It's to understand that there's the entire thing that is called the relocation package. So it's all the things that you have to take care of, but alongside you need to take care of yourself. So we take them through this journey of one, understanding why they are moving, what is their reason, because this is the first and most important bit of their journey abroad. And then we work with them on their inventory to see what their skills and what their values and what is their strengths that they can use. And we teach them some really practical tools to better deal with stress and how to cope with all those challenges and how to see challenges as opportunities. And we talk to them about how to communicate their move to their loved ones, because it's a big part, how to anticipate the different things that are going to happen. We really go through, it's a build-up course that will go with them hand in hand over a couple of weeks to make sure that they feel really good about themselves, about their decision, about their life they are going to have, no matter where they live.
Right. And so this is like the hidden piece of a move. No one really talks about is this shoring up your own internal process. And that's what I love about what you guys are doing is you speak so eloquently to this inner journey. And like you said, relocation companies they help you with the logistics kind of, but you're still doing a lot of work, even if you have a moving package that maybe you didn't, just sorting out your affairs and making sure your kids are in school if you have children, or that you have employment, or you have all your certifications. But then that inner journey, sometimes you don't realize you've gone through something until you arrive.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not a great time.
Yeah. Because even if you have the whole package and everything is, like you said, you still have to do a lot of things. And if you're not well prepared for it, well, you break at every moment and everything. You have to go and talk to the teacher of your kids and you don't know how to speak Dutch. Then you break down and it stresses you out. You have to go to the doctors and you can't say, hey, I have a fever. You can't do all of those. And when you're not strong enough and not well prepared for it, every small thing can really, break you down. And then after 3 months, you just want to go back home or, leave everything and give up your dreams. Sometimes it's a dream that people have for years to move abroad. And then they move abroad and they realize that it's not a fantasy and it's not their dream life. It's just life in a different place. And they just, feel,
which is a dream, but it's not always a dream.
Not always a dream. It's not a holiday.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people are forgetting that, yes, we moved to Paris, but we don't eat croissants from...
You still do the laundry, you still go to the doctor, you still you still have to do the dishes, you still have to pay taxes, you still have to live. Life is life. It's not holiday.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that actually gets a lot of people in trouble because they feel like they're living a dream, which they are, but also why is it so hard?
And I think that's the point where we talk a lot about how to talk with others, because when you call your best friend from abroad and you are having a really shitty time right now because you couldn't find your ingredient in the supermarket, or the bank is not working the way you wanted, or you don't understand why. A friend of mine asked me yesterday, Gal, do you have checkbook? Because I need to send 10 euros by check to this company. And in the US, we don't have this anymore. And she didn't understand like how it's supposed to work. So, but then you call someone back home and they're like, why are you complaining? You're living the dream, right? You're living in France.
Are Emily in Paris? Are you not?
You're not, like, of course, you don't have a sexy neighbor outdoor like that is cooking for you. No, it doesn't work this way. And, I want to say something very important. 80% of the women who move abroad are feeling depressed in the first year of a move abroad.
Wow.
80%.
Wow.
This is a massive number. And a big majority of them are actually quitting their new country and moving back because it is so damn hard for them.
Yep.
And we are on a mission to change this number, because the expat depression, the expat blues, the expat like
Divorce rate?
it's a real thing, but it can be avoided.
Yeah, it's preventable.
If you prepare yourself for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that emotional journey is something that is harder because of that complication we've talked about, right? Like, you're taken care of by a company, maybe. Or, if you've come with a company, if you've come with, say, as a refugee or something, you have a roof over your head, you have everything, you now live in a better situation. Why would you be struggling, right? You've lived, you are one of the lucky ones. And so I think that, you're making a case for it being a more humane experience.
I'll share a funny story and an anecdote, because we laughed about it it was 2 years ago, that one of the famous football players, I'm not going to say name, his wife, and you can imagine, football player, they had the best life, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best facilities and the best room and the best schools for the kids, and everything was done for them. And after 6 months, she was, I'm done.
Mm.
This is a nightmare. Take me back home.
Yep.
And he had to make her leave, having him to stay for his contract as a football player, and they needed to. So it doesn't matter if you have all the facilities done for you. It's helping, but if you feel shitty, the fact that you have a visa doesn't help.
Yep.
The fact that you have a house doesn't help.
Yep.
You need to have both.
Yep.
And it has to work together.
Yeah. And it's your life. You might as well enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. You better enjoy it.
Yeah, you better enjoy it. Well, I also say that it's like a chapter of your life. Even if you spend 3 months in a different country, it's a chapter of your life. It'll always be, the Israel chapter, the Netherlands chapter, the Paris chapter, the American chapter. For me, it very much delineates the chapters of your life. And so you want to make that chapter as, I think, not even happy, but just like, I don't know, have some depth to it, have some intention to it, because it's like being on a ride.
Yeah.
You might only be there 2 years. You might as well have your eyes open the whole time and be experiencing what you want to experience, instead of finding yourself at the bottom of a hole that you didn't know you had to look out for. And so that is I think what you're doing is so important. And that's why I wanted you to come on, is because you don't know what you don't know before you do it. You just think you're going to be Emily in Paris with the hot neighbor. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
I haven't met one Emily in Paris. Not one. Doesn't exist.
That's right. Well, it's more like Ted Lasso, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, so people can come to you to just buy your online course and do it self-guided. And you recommend that 3 to 6 months before a move, but someone could, in theory, do it after they've moved.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the first few months are still, adjusting to the situation. You don't really know. It's like we call it the honeymoon phase. Okay. It's still, not life didn't hit you already. So that's up to 3 months. It's still doable. We, of course, recommended doing it with our own hand-in-hand program and with the weekly sessions, because first of all, it's accountability, and then you actually do the course and not just buy it, because it's not helping if you just pay and not do anything. But it's also giving you some reflection, and we give you some personal tips sometimes, and it's really, really helpful.
It might also be helpful to have someone to talk to about this inner experience, because your partner may not have time or patience to.
Yeah, or understand what you're going through, because every experience is really different. And
even within a partnership,
each person is having their own experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like your own personal therapy in a way.
Kind of.
Yeah. And that's really important because if you're not doing well, especially if you're moving with your partner or with children, they're also not doing well. And would you say that's part of why are you focusing on women? I'm here for it, but I want to hear it from you guys.
So first of all, we're women, so we know best how to talk to women. And because we experienced it ourselves, then we know what we felt when we moved abroad. And we know what words we were using and what words we are using right now. So we know best how to deal with women. That's one reason. And the other one is that we see a lot of women coming with their partner and having to deal with everything. Basically, the partner goes to work and the woman is left, dealing with the kids, schools, bureaucracy, house, everything is on her. And she has more time than he does to take care of herself. And it is I don't like saying it, but a lot of time the woman is the heart of the family. And when she's doing well, everything is doing well. And when she's not okay, then things are not okay around her as well.
And I will add the additional side, because we talk with different type of women, but there is more and more women who are doing solo moves, who are deciding to go after their career, who are doing it for themselves, and they are scared as shit. On one side, they're excited because it's a dream, but they're going through a lot. They need to understand how to be themselves in a different country. There's no partners, there's no family, there's no friends, there's no support system around them, and they need to build everything from scratch. And it's different type of challenges. And I think that's our biggest strength, is that we have both versions of things. Like I moved alone as a single person. Maayan moved as a mom recently and with a partner. So we have both versions of it. And that's why we can help more type of women to.
And I would add a third one. Have you guys seen? So I've seen a lot of my friends actually are women who have moved with their jobs. And so they're a mother or partnered, but their partner comes with them. And that comes with extra complexity as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's a third type of our clients. And yes, definitely. It's a different type. And there's something about
They're
women.
still the heart of the house.
They're still the heart of the house. And we as women, let's be honest, there are some men like this as well, but a lot of women mainly, we need to take care of everything and everyone. We need to make sure that things are working properly. And as Maayan said before, if we don't feel good, nothing else will.
Yeah.
And for women that need to support their husband, whether it's for his job or whether it's because he just had to give up his job, you still need to support him. And you need to be strong in order to do that.
Yeah. And men actually maybe don't know that. I think women also, when they give up their job, have to mourn it, and their husbands need to be there for them, but it often doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So maybe they also need that recognition that they've just given up their job and their partner doesn't know that. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a unique experience no matter what, if you're moving as a woman, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
Whether it's for your job, you've just given up your job, you don't have a job, that you're working for money. I think it's a different level of complexity. And so for me, it's interesting you guys have acknowledged that and are targeting it.
Yeah. So to be honest, men will have difficult journeys as well when moving abroad.
Yep.
But it will be different journeys,
and maybe
they approach it differently, and therefore we decided that for now at least our main focus is to make sure that those 80% women who are feeling depressed in the first year,
super important,
there's less of those.
One day you'll just have like a note to partner.
Exactly.
No, but it's super interesting. And I think it's super smart of you guys to target that group as as an expertise. So I think that's very interesting. Okay, so they can study themselves, a self-study, self-course. They can study with you guys or do a course with you guys. And that looks something like coming up with your own whys, an inventory of your strengths, obviously some words of wisdom and frameworks you guys have. And when they come out of it, they should feel like they have a more strong sense of who they are and why they're there when they move to the new country, to make the inevitable. There's just no smooth move abroad. It's just, the world is not made for this, let's be honest. And so the inevitable things that they come up with, they can have the fortitude to maybe go through them a little bit more gracefully.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a really big gift to the world, you guys.
Thank you.
So that is Smoozitive. And so I want to know, is there anything else you want to tell everybody or bring to our conversation that I've forgotten?
I think our biggest, belief right now in general is that we only get one life. So, and it's our job to live it and not just be alive, but just fully live it. And especially if you chose to live abroad, whether it's for a better life or for an opportunity or for love, it doesn't really matter. If you made that choice, make sure you enjoy it. And it's not like you shouldn't be embarrassed to say, I want to enjoy my life. I want to be happy in my life. It's not like it's a big word. We should all enjoy our lives because there's only one. There's no do-over. There's no second chance. Let's enjoy it. And it's our job to create this life that we can enjoy. Nobody's going to give you, hey, there is your perfect life, live it, because it's different for everyone. So make it.
And I'll add to this that don't wait for things to get super, super, super hard and super challenging and super depressing to make changes. Like the changes, we started the conversation with it. Change is an amazing thing. The more you will be accepting changes, the more you will put yourself out there and adapt to different things, the better human being you become, because you will know how to deal with life better. And it doesn't matter where you live, you will live in a better way because change is part of our life all the time. We see it all the time. So just welcome changes into your life. Start seeing it as opportunities and don't wait for things to get extremely tough to make changes. Start small. Start where it's comfortable and where it's easy. And then you will know how to deal with it better.
Yeah, that's great advice, no matter if you're living abroad or not.
Exactly.
So lastly, my last question I usually ask people, and I should have prepared you before, but I'm just going to give you the big question. So if cost and nothing, no money, no any other considerations, family, kids, where would you live in the world if you could choose anywhere?
I think it's funny that you're asking this question because we've been asking ourselves this question for the past month. Where on earth our values would be met and where on this planet we can truly be ourselves? Our answer, I think for me, is Mars, the moon. Sadly, and I'm saying sadly, right now, this planet is going through difficult times, and we've lost some basic values of humanity that we believe in, and we're looking to live in a place that values the same things. So right now,
I was about to say, like, conquer an island that doesn't have any humans and accept them on a very specific formula. Like, are you accept or just in middle of the sea? You said Mars. It's actually even because there's a big thing happening right now, and our sense of values and humanity is a bit shaken.
It's a really tricky time, especially right now. especially with where your family lives and where you're from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's understandable that Mars would be your answer. And the reason I ask this question, honestly, is because the people I interview give this question more thought than most people. And I think we're always all country shopping, whether or not we think we're living somewhere forever. And that's something we have unique as a peregrine. And so I think country shopping we always have our eye on what other countries are doing, but with where the world is right now and your specific family, I think Mars is an appropriate answer.
Okay, I'm glad you liked it. But for to be more honest right now, I think that in times like this where you're country shopping and you can't find what you like, then that's the time to go back inside of you, ask yourself the right question, reevaluate your values. Is it really what I want? And create it in the smaller environment, like around you, your house, your family, your couple of friends. Make it small, but make it valuable and nice for you to live.
I will add to this because I just had this conversation this week. There's no perfect place on earth. It doesn't exist. But if you are aligned with your values and if you really know what you look for in your lifestyle, in the family that you want, in the type of country, what is the country valuing for? Like, how do you educate your kids there? So you can take small actions and move from it's bad to it's a little bit less bad, because it's bad right now, a little bit everywhere. But where is it a little bit better than where you are right now? Because it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be better and more aligned with who you are and more aligned with your values and more aligned with your lifestyle and more aligned with your beliefs. And if I have to be honest, I'm extremely happy to be living in France right now because it is more aligned still with what I believe in.
That's so important. And that self-inventory is another part of living this life, is knowing you can survive anywhere. But where do you thrive?
Exactly. Yeah. Love it.
Thank you so much, you guys. It's been such a pleasure talking to you and learning about Smoozitive and your beautiful life stories. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this with my community.
Thank you so much for having us today, for letting us speak, for letting us think about anything else these days. And we hope you listeners enjoyed it.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed our show. For the latest insights on living internationally, join us at houseofperegrine.com to find out how you can connect with our community. Let's craft our life story with intention together.